So today we're going to go into Yugioh Pro with this deck. We're going to show it off, show you how it works, show the combos, all the good stuff. Before we go into the deck list though, big shout out to all of you at home for 476 subscribers on the tube. We are so close to the 500 goal. It's so close. If we could hit that, that would be beautiful. But you guys were amazing. Thank you for all the support. I appreciate you very much. Thank you so much. So without further ado, let's go into the deck list and then right into the duels. So for our main deck today, we're playing one copy of Vampire Voivode, one copy of Vampire Scarlet Scourge, two copies of Shadow Vampire, two Vampire Frauleins, two Necroworld Banshees, a Gozaki and a Mezaki, three copies of Vampire Ghost Ogre, two Unizombies, three each of Vampire's Retainer and Familiar. We have 1-for-1, Mind Control, three Vampire's Desire, Foolish Burial, Monster Reborn, Call by the Grave, two Super Polys, two Vampire's Domain, and one Zombie World, along with three copies each of Crackdown and Vampire Domination. For our extra deck, we've got ourselves Avenged Savior, two Vampire Suckers, two copies of Vampire Fascinator, we got one Yugioh the Absolute Zero Maikashi, one Unchained Abomination, we have Crimson Knight Vampire Brahm, one Damper Vampire Sheridan, two copies of the Undead Vampire, the big old boss monster, one copy of AA Zeus, one Starving Venom Fusion, and two Draco Necrosoul Dragons. For the side deck, not too much to talk about, but a couple little things. If you want some more negation, you want to focus more on, more standard run-of-the-mill zombies, go for a copy of Ballardrock. He keeps coming back as long as you have a field spell. Vampire Grace can summon itself from the grave when a high level of zombie is special summoned to your field by the effect of a zombie-type monster. But it costs you 2,000, and it's not the best card in the world, but if you want to tech in one just to bring it back and use it as link material and such, go for it. Vampire Lord's only in here because he's a dapper little butt munch himself, and he looks cool. Vampire Duke used to combo really well with Vampire. Yeah, you can summon him out of the deck with your Shadow Vampire. You normal summon him, you can target a Dark Vampire in your grave and summon him in face-up defense mode as well. He's a nice dude, but not as useful, and his effect is pretty outdated. It's all about milling your opponent's deck, which is not what vampires do anymore. As well, you have things like Mud Dragon for more generic targets for Super Poly, other big link monsters like Borload and Appaloosa. Don't really need another Vampire Sucker, but if you really wanted Vampire Sucker, then she's here. If you find yourself going second, I highly recommend something like Book of Life, because you can revive your zombies and banish your opponent's monsters at the same time, and it's not once per turn. Lastly, there's things like Zombie Necronize. If you have a high-level zombie, you can steal your opponent's monsters. Fits with the theme, but it's more of a going second card as well. So depending on the sort of build you want to go for, if you want to go like purely second, things like this are something to consider. But anyway, let's go ahead now into good old Yugioh Pro. We've talked about the deck, and now let's go into the duels to show it off in all of its glory. Alrighty, our first opponent. We kind of want to go first with this deck, although we do have some going second things, but we're going to go first, and that's good. Alrighty, I don't have a vampire card other than Domination. I suppose I can get another one. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to summon out Vampire Ghost Ogre. This is our new lower level vampire. Once per turn, when this guy's normal summon, once per turn, I can ditch a vampire card. Sadly, it has to be Domination. I can get Fraulein from my deck. And then I can send one of the lower level familiar or retainers to the grave. So we're going to go ahead and set out. We'll send the familiar. Yeah. And we'll go ahead, Foolish Burial, generic zombie sort of card, send a monster to the graveyard, and we'll send a retainer. That way we have the option for both. So let's go ahead, let me think about this. Want a monster, want a spell trap? Yes, I do. So we'll go ahead and use retainer. Once per turn, you can ditch a vampire card from hand or field, summon out the familiar, pay 500 life when it's special summoned, and I get to search out a vampire monster. In this case, we want Shadow Vampire. We do want that guy. We're also going to go ahead and use Retainer. We'll ditch Familiar. Or rather, I would ditch familiar if it would allow me to ditch a familiar. Because he gets banished when he leaves the field, so he doesn't get to do that. Okay, well, we don't have Fraulein, but this will work too. This will work just fine. So we use Retainer's effect. Same sort of deal. You get yourself a Spell Trap. But we're going to go ahead and get our negation again. Vampire Domination. Alright, and then lastly, Ogre here, I can banish. And I can get another normal summon. We'll summon out Shadow Vampire. We'll go ahead and get rid of this dude. And Shadow Vampire, when he's normal summoned, I get to summon another vampire from my deck. In this case, we'll get Scarlet Scourge. Because again, when this guy gets summoned, I get to pay 1,000, bring back a vampire. It's nice that, you know, vampires, you know, they're blood drinkers. They're all about paying some life, but eventually we start gaining that life. I just need my vampire's domain, which I can get to, you know, once I get another retainer going. So we'll set a couple of cards. And we'll go ahead, let me think about this. I don't want to really use everything. So I'm going to go ahead and make Vampire Sucker. Yes. We'll make Vampire Sucker. That way when I start summoning out of my graveyard, I will be ready. Because basically what Sucker does is, if I would tribute for a tribute summon, I can use a zombie of my opponent's, hence the zombie world. I can target a monster in my opponent's grave and give it to them, if I was so inclined to do so. And Floowandereeze. That's an annoying archetype, for sure. But I have means to interrupt his normal summons, so we'll find out. We'll find out. But yeah, if he summons out a zombie, special summons a zombie, which he doesn't do, obviously, I will be ready. So let's go ahead and crack down on the Eagle. I'm gonna steal this. I don't know if does he get another normal summon? I think he does. If he does, it's fine, though. Floowandereeze is a nice, nasty archetype, but if you can stop their normal summons enough, you're good. Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. Why did you summon Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds? I already have a board. It's kind of a late game thing. Are you gonna Regeki me? That's not gonna work. Just so you know, I have a Spell Trap Monster Effect Negator. You're not gonna be able to do nothing with that? Okay, you're gonna attack into... Oh, he just wants his bird back. Okay, understandable. I too would want my bird back, but sadly for you... Yeah, I'm a zombie, so I'm gonna pay life points off Fraulein. I can pay up to 3,000 life to boost my monster by a similar amount. In this case, I'm only gonna pay like 300, because I don't need to pay too much. If I had Domain, I'd pay the full 3,000, because then it's worth it. Then you start gaining the life equal to how much damage your opponent takes. But yeah, there you go. My opponent's surrender. Floowandereeze, really nasty archetype, but if you can interrupt their normal summons, they can't do anything. They have no follow-up to that. I mean, yeah, he has double normal summons, but I had means to stop even if he did double normal summon. So there's our first duel of the day. It's a bit of a case where I was up against an opponent who really needed me to not interrupt him, and my vampires had got their fingers all up in his guts, so really, he was not going to have a fun time. So there's our first duel. You got to see a little bit of the vampire swarm, a little bit of their control. Let's go for duel 2. Try to get some extra deck shenanigans going. Alrighty, second opponent. Let's go and do it again. I know I should have picked paper. Why would I do scissors? Who picks scissors? Alright, well, regardless of me picking scissors over paper, we are going to get to go first, so that's nice. Alrighty, opening hand is... It's okay. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Alright. Let's go ahead and activate 1 for 1. We'll ditch our Ghost Ogre for later. I'm just going to straight up summon out my familiar. This way I can keep it if I happen to send it to the grave. We'll use our Vampire Familiar, as we like to do. We're going to go ahead and add ourselves a Fraulein, because I already have a Shadowy Vampire. We should be good from there. I mean, I can keep my stuff. I don't need to banish nobody. So we'll go for Shadow Vampire, and go ahead and bring out our Retainer. That's the main thing. You want to just keep looping up these Retainers and these Familiars. That's why we're playing 3 of them, is because you want to loop these guys a little bit. So the longer you can keep them in contention, the better. So we'll go ahead and get domination for now. And then later I can go for other things. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and make the sucker. Hacha. And we should be pretty set there. I could bring back a retainer now, but I don't really want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and... let's set up Mizuki. Let's set up a Mizuki for later. Or I could go for Banshee, too. That's a tricky one. Do I want a Mizuki to banish and bring things back to life? Or do I want... you know what? I actually want the Banshee right now. I can go for other things later. So let's go ahead and Banshee. Get ourselves Zombo World set up. That'll disrupt him if he happens to actually need to tribute summon for whatever reason. Because it turns everything on the field and in the graves into Zambos. So now we get to see what our opponent's up to. We got ourselves a semi-solid board. Manju of the 10,000 nipples. Okay. And what's in my... yeah, for whatever reason... yeah, Ghost Ogre is a quick effect because, you know, Vampire's Domain lets you get normal sums as well. Well, actually, that has nothing to do with it, but for whatever reason, he's a quick effect. You could tribute right there, but you really don't need to do that. We'll let him do his thing, I suppose. We'll get to see what he's up to anyway. We'll see what kind of ritual deck this is. Is it a Drytrons? Is it Blue Eyes? Is it Hungry Burger? I hope it's Hungry Burger. Hungry Burger's the best ritual monster. Way better than all the other ritual monsters. Very, very much true. I'm going to say it right here. I'm going to just put on my opinion here. Hungry Burger, best ritual monster. Dokura Rider, close second. But Hungry Burger, best boy. Alright, so he is going to search out his ritual card. It's Dark Magicians. Okay. I despise Dark Magicians. They used to be cool, but now they're not so cool. Alright. Well, sadly, I have to stop that. Normally, I wouldn't want to stop that, but I have no choice, because if I don't have a vampire, this does nothing. It does nothing! It's unfortunate. He had field nukes. I would normally have stopped this illusion of chaos, dude. But I'm not allowed. Alright. Whatever, nerd. You do whatever, dude. Because remember, if you special summon anything... I get to draw a card if it's from the graveyard, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean? 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 Alrighty, so this guy's playing Dark Magicians. Big whoopsie-doo. I don't care too much. Dogmatica Dark Magicians, has to be said. So, he'll have the Magician's Soul. I probably should steal that, though, because I don't want him making... like Verte or anything like that. I'd rather him not get that chance. So I'm just going to go ahead and crack down and steal this. So I have it and he does not have it. So he should be pretty set. If he can't make Verte, although he has this, apparently. Dark Magicians. What happened to you? You used to be semi-cool. Now you're just kind of lame. Alright. Timaeus the Dragon of Destiny. Send a spellcaster, special summon. Main phase, fusion summon. Why Dark Magicians needed this on top of Red Eye's fusion being a thing, I don't know. The question is, what is he going to do? I mean, I have a bad feeling about what he's going to do. I mean, if he was going to do that, he'd probably have done it by now. Maybe he's going to just attack me. I don't know. I don't know. Is he going to just attack me into my Fraulein? Because if he does, I'll be good. No, we're good. Okay, so he's going to be able to attack. But I have a Fraulein. So let's go ahead for the Fraulein. Summon this in defense mode. So yeah, now I can start paying life points to beat over any of his monsters I desire. All I need is Domain. And every time I pay life points for this, I'll be good. Alright, so he's going to attack into Fraulein. I'm going to go ahead and pay life. I'm not going to pay the whole kit and caboodle. You only do that when you have Domain. I'm just going to pay 800. That way we evenly match each other. Hacha. So yeah, now Timaeus does a heckin' lot of nothing. And you know what? I'm going to pay just a little bit more. Because I kind of want to keep your monster all to myself. Yeah. I'll pay a little bit more life point. I don't want you to have this back yet. You might actually want this, for all I know. Alright. Let's see. What does he have in his grave? Nothing I can special summon. I mean, not that I would want to give him a monster, but I have that option. It's not Dragoon. So he says. So he claims it's not Dragoon. We'll find out. Okay, it's Super Poly. So he's fusing with my stuff to make what? Starving. Okay, understand. I play that card too. I play that card too. Unfortunate that he had a Super Poly. And I don't have my Super Poly. Alright. Ooh, wait, hold on. I got it. I got it. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and use Familiar first. Ditch Voivode. Summon out Familiar. Familiar's effect. Going to go off. I'm going to get myself another vampire monster. And do I still have... I still have Ogre in the grave. Okay. So let's go ahead and get Shadow Vamp... Let's see. Other monsters you control cannot attack that turn. Okay. Let's get... Ghost Ogre then. Let's get Ghostly Ogre. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead for Retainer. Ditching the Ogre. Summon this out. And we're going to use Retainer's effect to get ourselves a Spell Trap. We're going to get Vampire's Desire. This allows me to do my testing creative dogmatic rituals in server. Are you? I don't. Okay, whatever. Let's see. Tribute to vampire, target monster, Pokemon controls, take control to the end phase. If I had another vampire, I could do that, but I can't. Good for tag, not 1v1, I guess. Yep, might be the case, my dude. Alright. Vampire's Desire. We're going to go ahead and change the level of our Familiar here. We're going to make him level 8. Actually, there's Scargale better. We're going to send the level 6 to the grave. Let's see. Attach material, target a card to opponent controls, send to the graveyard. Okay, that works even better. So because I'm using a monster my opponent controls, I can use this as a level 6. That's the thing about the Vampire Exceeds. Is that if you're using an opponent's monster, you can treat their levels different. So now we'll use our Vampire. And we're going to go ahead and straight up send this to the graveyard. Because if it's not destroyed, he gets nothing. And then, because I sent a card, I can summon that monster to my field. Granted, he'll get back his souls, but I get to keep his monster. And Voivode, I can go ahead and... Let's see... Get rid of 2 of my cards. And summon Voivode to the field. That's right. I forgot about that effect. Yeah, because I have a monster special summon for my opponent's field. Yeah, his graveyard to the field. I contribute 2 monsters, summon him back. So that's the thing. So we'll go ahead and do some damage. We'll do some damage. We don't have a negate, sadly. We don't have any interruption right now, which is unfortunate. But I've got 2 high-level monsters. They're both bigger than the Dark Magician. He has no life points left, so he can't pay no life points for anything. And I could make Zeus. I mean, Zeus is at least bigger than... Let's see. Yeah, I'll go ahead and make Zeus, even though there's not real reason to do it. But we'll do that. And we'll end our turn. Alright, so now it's all up to the Dark Magician player. We'll see. We'll see indeed. I mean, it's a good thing that Familiar's back in the grave instead of being banished, so... If I really need to, I can bring him back. Get another monster, get a Fraulein or something. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Because, you know, it's a nice back and forth. It's only the 4th turn. It's a pretty good back and forth. And I am surprised he didn't make Dragoon. I was really worried that he would be making Dragoon. Because Dragoon is just toxic. It really is. And honestly, Verte's starting to become a problem himself. Mostly with that, the D hero guy. What's his name? Let's see. Monster the same name in the graveyard. Negate act. Oh, yeah, that's right. Voivode has a negate. Since you use the effect of a monster, and that monster's already in the grave, I can negate. GG, thanks for the duel. Are you surrendering? Or is he about to kick my butt? I don't know. It's one or the other. Okay, we'll give him a GG. He played good. It's just the fact that even when I don't remember all my effects, I can still win with this deck. It's pretty foolproof. Pretty foolproof. Alright, so there's a win against Dark Magicians. A nice back and forth. We got to see a little bit of the extra deck action. I still want to summon the big undead, which is something we can do. So we're going to go ahead into duel number 3 and attempt to do just that. Alrighty, our third and final duel of the day. What do we have here? This is more of a going second hand. Because I got the mind control and such. I mean, I can still do stuff. I can have stuff set up for next turn. That'll be good enough. Okay, so we'll go for our Unizombie. We'll go ahead and send a zombie to the graveyard. We're going to go ahead and ditch Mizuki. That way we have Mizuki for later. Although, I could just get Retainer, too. Actually, we'll go for other stuff. We'll use Vampire Familiar here. We'll go ahead for Vampire Familiar. You know, I could have just dumped a Mizuki, but this will work just as well. So we'll summon out our Vampire Familiar. He'll search me out a monster, get my Fraulein all headed out. Fraulein, come to my hand so I have a hand trap. Thank you. And while I won't have any negates or anything, it's at least something. Although I could make a Vendred Savior instead. Very tricky. Let me think. You know, since I don't have any of my vampire stuff, I'm going to go ahead and make Savior instead. To have something a little bit different. That way we have this. If my opponent battles into my Vendred Savior, I can ditch a zombie to make my opponent's monster lose attack equal to the level of that monster times 200. Good for dumping Mizukis. And any of our high-level vampires as well. So, we'll get right into that. Yeah, Voivode. I put him in this deck because he's the level 8. I mean, Vampire Vamp is also a level 8, and I could have just run her as well. But I wanted to try Voivode, and I don't remember his effect all the time, let me tell you. Because, like I said, I mostly want him to use him for desires. Like, I know he has the normal summon him, steal 2 of your opponent's monsters and grave effect. And I kind of blanked on the whole negate. Because it's not a negate you use too often. But it still works. Alright, so this guy is going to hit my junk. So, luckily, though, I have Called by the Grave. No draw for you, young man. There shall be none of that nonsense. So this guy's playing Shaddolls. I mean, I'm fine with that to a degree. It's not a big deal or anything. Predaplant Sarah. Predaplant Sarah. That's your name. Alright, so he's gonna battle into me. Interesting. Does he have a hand trap or something? I'm gonna wait on the Fraulein for now. I'm gonna go ahead and use my effect, so what do I need to do? Okay, so I can just ditch Mizuki. Yeah, and then I'm bigger than you. Go away. Alright, so no Shadow window, but he does get his fusion spell back, so he can make another one. Or potentially make any of the other Shadow fusion monsters. Although typically it's usually just Construct and Window. You can play the rest, obviously, but those are the easy ones to summon. Those are the easier ones. Alrighty, that will do indeed. Ooh, Foolish Burial, that's not bad. Let me think about this. Alright, let's activate Foolish Burial. I'm going to send Retainer to the graveyard. Because I'd rather bring him back with Mizuki than anybody. What are you barking at? My dog is barking. He's like, please pay attention to me. I paid attention to you plenty. Dog you. Come here. Look beautiful for the people at home. Look at that dog. Look at that boy. He's a good boy. Alright, what am I doing here? Oh yeah, I was summoning Vampire Retainer. And then I gotta go ahead and get myself a spell. And in this case, do I want an Omni Negate or do I want to gain lots of life points? I'm probably just gonna get the Omni Negate. Domain's good, but in this situation, I would kind of prefer that. So we're gonna go ahead and activate Mind Control. And I'm gonna steal his monster for a turn. So now, we can finally go into I swear, Joy, if I gotta keep petting you this whole time, I know. He doesn't like Yu-Gi-Oh! I have my dog, he hates Yu-Gi-Oh! It's awful, but what can you do? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and ditch our level 8 to the grave. So now we can make our rank 8 Xyz monster, the Undead Vampire. Hasha. So now we've got our big boss. Once per turn, I can mill 4 cards from the top of both players' decks. And then if there's a monster among them, I can summon one of them. And what do we got? Let's see. Neither of those do anything for me. This is only good when it's normal summon. So I guess we're going for Necro World Banshee because he at least has more attack points. Although I could have also gone for that Shaddolls Dragon dude. That would have also been decent. But yeah, that's Undead Vampire. You use your opponent's monsters to summon him. It's pretty good. Neither player can target him with card effects if monsters summoned from anywhere other than the GY. Meaning, if he summons something from the extra deck or the main deck, it does nothing. And my opponent surrenders. Well, dang, I finally got to summon out my vampire and my opponent rage quits. Unfortunate. Unfortunate indeed. I mean, I could have used... I could have brought out Fraulein just to have a little extra damage. I wasn't quite game or anything, but... At least, you know, I had my vampire, I had an Omni negation. That's probably what really did it to him, because, you know, if he didn't have enough fusions, that's probably what messed him up. So I'm going to call that a game, because we definitely won that one. We won that one. So we're going to go ahead into the end screen now, because we've shown off most of what the deck can do, and I'm happy with it. Alrighty, everybody, Vampires of the Halloween 2021. We did alright, we got 3 wins. Admittedly, didn't get to have the greatest of opponents, but we got to show off most of what the deck's all about. You know, swarming, stealing our opponent's monsters, going for bigger monsters, doing damage. You know, that's what I want to do, and that's what we got to do. So, I'm happy with the deck. It would have been nice for a little bit more back and forth, but, you know, sometimes in EDO Pro you can't really do nothing about that. Because some people know what they're doing, some people don't. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the Vampire deck. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It lets me know that you liked the video. And also considering subbing, because we are trying, again, 500 subs by the end of the year would make this man a happy boy. So, thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget, tomorrow is the live stream with, pretty much generic zombie sort of things. You know, just doing some zombie things. And then, Halloween night, the ghost tricks, as we must do. So, until next time, your boy Memphis is signing out. I'll see you guys again later with more Yu-Gi-Oh! Action. Till then, take care, and I'll see you then.